Thank you, Deputies. And now I will take leaders' questions under Standing Order 38, Deputy Mary Lou McDonald.
Before I begin, I would like to congratulate our undisputed world champion, Katie Taylor, on an incredible victory in Madison Square Gardens on a Saturday morning. And Katie, as we know, has fought all over the world. She's walked many times into the lion's den, but I know lots of people now are anticipating the mother and father of all homecomings and a fight maybe in Croke Park.
They're here.
Taoiseach, you have comprehensively ruled out providing a cost of living package in October's budget. The media today is full of reports that you're set to double down on the removal of support payments for struggling households. At a time when living costs are through the roof, when people are hit by skyrocketing prices from every direction, your government proposes to abandon households with no help. And the promises you made during the election disappear like snow off a ditch. People frankly can't believe their ears when they hear you talk as if sky-high living costs they experience every day are a thing of the past. Extortionate prices are not past tense, Taoiseach. People are being fleeced now, today. Fleeced when they open their electricity or gas bill, when they get to the checkout with the weekly shop, when they go to fill the car, when they go to buy basic toiletries like toothpaste or shampoo. The out-of-control cost of living is making it so hard for working people to keep their heads above water now, as we speak. And so for you to tell households that you're not going to help them, to almost boast that you're determined not to help, shows that you really don't understand the pressure that people are under. And people aren't looking for lip service, they're not looking for sympathy from government, they are looking for support and for fair play. And they're not getting a whole lot of fairness right now. For one thing, households in Ireland are paying 30% more on their electricity bills each year than the EU average. That's nearly €350 more. The ESRI says that it is difficult to explain why electricity prices here are so far above other countries. People are taken for a ride, and now you propose to cancel the very help that they desperately need with their energy bills. Taoiseach, you should be continuing to provide energy credits as part of a cost of living package in the budget. That's the truth. So we've had 6 months of your do-nothing government, and now the Dáil rises. And as the Dáil rises for the summer, you leave people only with stress and uncertainty. People facing big rent hikes next year, thanks to you. Students and their families facing a big hike in college fees, thanks to you. And thanks to you, tens of thousands of families left without cost of living supports and wondering how on earth they will make it through the winter. Ní féidir leis an rialtas teaghlaí atá stracailt le ardtha phrais is smacht a réicint. Caithfidh sibh pacáis de costas marachtála thuairt chun tosaí sa bhuiséad. Taoiseach, households are under enormous pressure right now, unable to keep up with soaring prices, and governments simply cannot abandon workers and families like this. So I'm now putting it to you that you must include a cost of living package in October's budget.
Taoiseach to respond, please.
Dus beide ní ein team na nechur, Mary Lou Oireachtas go bhfuil annach identig an rialtas can an brú atá corathar cosfainte na tíre de jaasca an Éirí Arda costas marachtála tánach identig an brú sinna ísliú agus tánach identig going chuna sinna dhéanamh. And in passing also, I would like to congratulate Katie Taylor on an outstanding win, one of our outstanding sports persons who's done extraordinary work in terms of elevating the role of women in sport and has brought great pride and distinction to the nation and to the sport of boxing. I don't agree with your analysis, Deputy, in terms of the government not going to help them, or the government doing nothing, and telling people that it doesn't recognise the fact that prices are at a relatively elevated level following the peaking of inflation. Remember, inflation peaked at about 10% in the immediate aftermath of COVID-19, and following the Russian invasion of Ukraine at close to 10%. And what's interesting is, of course, government did an awful lot. We did more than any other European government, actually, in terms of cushioning and trying to reduce the impact of that cost of living increases on people. And we continue to do that. In April, we decided to extend the VAT reduction to 9% on gas and electricity. This measure will save households €70 for gas and €55 for electricity. And then Minister O'Brien took a further decision in June of a 40% reduction in the renewable electricity PSO levy. From September onwards, there will be a significant increase in the number of people who qualify for the fuel allowance. And since the 1st of June, women can receive HRT free of charge. At the beginning of June, the Carers Support Grant increased to €2,000. This is the highest level ever, and that benefits some 138,000 carers. And last week, the income level disregard increase for the carers allowance, meaning more people will qualify for the allowance, and more than 5,000 carers will receive an increase in their payments. And then we have the back-to-school clothing and footwear allowance will be paid out over the summer months, and that's been extended for the first time to foster carers. From September, the free school book scheme continues to be extended to all students in post-primary schools, and from September all primary schools are eligible for the free hot school meals programme. A school meals holiday pilot project has started this summer, and free public transport for children aged 5 to 8 will be introduced later this year. So far from your assertions that government is doing nothing, we have taken all of these measures on top of the measures that we took in budget 2025, and also as part of the public service paying agreement. But it's also worth noting that inflation in Ireland will come down to about 1.6%. This year. We will have the third, you referenced our positioning within the European Union, we actually will have the third lowest rate of inflation among the 27 member EU countries. And given the strength of the domestic economy, that's quite a remarkable outcome vis-à-vis other European countries. Nominal wage growth is set to reach 5.5% this year. That will result in real incomes rising rise of between 3 and 3.5% per annum. And that's important because we are turning the tide in terms of this issue. That follows increases in real incomes in 2024 and further increases, future increases forecast for 2026. So the focus in the budget quite simply has to be on dramatically transforming our infrastructure, which we committed to in the general election. This has to be an era when we transform our roads, our public transport, energy, and in terms of water utilities.
Thank you,
and that's to help the Irish people in terms of growth and jobs into the future. And there will have to be a predominant allocation of capital to these key agenda items.
So, Taoiseach, the deficit in our infrastructure is on you. Just remember you've presided over that, and yes, you're right, investment needs to be made. The mistakes that you have made in the past number of administrations, yourself and Fine Gael, have to be corrected. You're absolutely right there. But you're entirely missing where families and where people's lives are at. You're right to say that the rate of inflation has fallen, and thank God for that. But what you're entirely missing is the fact that prices have not followed suit. And anybody who goes into a supermarket or a shop or who opens up their bill can tell you that we are in a place where households are still struggling. By the way, on your record, in the last 5 months, home heating oil prices up by €25 a fill, petrol and diesel up in May, you're going for that again in October, local property tax up, rents up, students' fees, as we know, due also to go up. So you have shown no regard, no sensitivity for the realities of struggling households and workers, and I am simply asking you to please wake up and become aware of the realities of people's lives. People need these supports. They will need a cost of living package come October, mark my words.
There will be supports in the budget in respect of supporting people deal with the cost of living. Food inflation in Ireland in May was 4%. We're mid-table across the European Union. This is a European-wide phenomenon. It's a global phenomenon in terms of what's happened with the energy crisis. I love the way you just toss aside, oh, infrastructure's on you. I don't have to account for that at all. Sorry, we've spent record levels of investment in the last 4 years, okay? We're going to go further again, because the most important thing for the future of this economy is that we make sure that we substantially increase and double the investment, more than double the investment in the energy grid, so that we have connections, that we can deal with the growing population and growing economy, that we have huge investment in water, that we have huge investment in public transport and in roads. That's what underpins the economy. And I think that will be a more effective allocation of spending and prioritisation of the surpluses that we'll have at the end of this year and hopefully into the future.
Thank you,
notwithstanding the very significant, difficult backdrop in terms of the US imposing tariffs, very high tariffs potentially on the world, which will put a lot of predictions out.
Deputy Ivana.
Like, share, and subscribe, and let us know your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear from you.